You are seeing that right. I have 20 Sunder Charms in my stash, and today on the War Club, we're going to see how I got all those Sunder Charms. I made a video last week on how the Heralds spawn. I included a few tips on how to spawn those Heralds efficiently and faster. A frequent question on that video was, should I just farm Andariel, or should I go through all the effort to get these Heralds? Well, we're going to put that to the test today. Old school, split screen, Star Fox 64, Mario Kart 64, Twisted Metal Black. On the left side, we've got Andariel, and on the right side, we've got the Heralds. Up at the top, we see the number of Sunder Charms that we have. For the Andariel runs, I'm running non-terrorized. Players count 3 with 500 Magic Find. For the Heralds, I wanted to keep the players count at 3 and Magic Find at 500 so that the drops would be comparable from all the monsters that I'm killing to spawn those Heralds, but I could not do it efficiently at those settings. I had to back it down to players 1. In the lower left and lower right, you see the luck gauge. I'm going to compare how each side is doing compared to standard drop rates. If we're doing better than standard drop rates, the needle will move to the right. And if we are doing worse than standard drop rates, the needle will move to the left. For Andariel, with players 3 and 500% Magic Find, the standard drop rate came out to be about 1 unique charm in every 145 runs. For Heralds, I just used the drop rate for T5 Heralds, Tier 5 Heralds, to make that simpler, pretty much ignoring Tiers 1 through 4 as I am clearing entire acts, mainly Act 1 and Act 2, and so the drop rate over there is 1 in 50. At the center of the screen, kind of near the top, is the overall time for both sides. Each side was running a timer that was burned into the video. You can see it's kind of cut off in the background there, but that allowed me to synchronize these together in real time. There is a ton of video here, so we are just going to fast forward to the key moments. As I fast forward through this video, watch those luck gauges. Both gauges will tick down as I kill Andariel and Heralds. Here we are at our first event, and it is Team Andariel. 11 and a half minutes into the run, and there it is, Sunder Charm number 1 for Team Andariel. Update the counter. That is a fire Sunder Charm after only 18 Andariel kills, and the luck meter is pegged because it is super lucky to get a Sunder Charm after only 18 runs. But let's not leave the Heralds out of this just yet. I'm not even going to speed up the video. Shift your focus over to Team Heralds. I just spawned a Tier 3 Herald over there. Let's see what happens when we kill the Tier 3 Herald. And remember, you are watching the self-styled luckiest Diablo 2 player in the world. And there it is. Peg that luck gauge. I have found 2 Sunder Charms in under 13 minutes. Disclaimer, these results are not typical, and the luck gauges indicate this. As I fast forward through these clips to the next event, we're going to show you how the Sunder Charms roll. Throughout the video, we're also going to talk about the pros and cons of each farming method, because this is a video about whether or not you should do Andariel versus Herald, so I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of each. Here is our next event. Shift your attention to Team Andariel, 34 minutes into the farming session, and on kill 58, oh, there it was, just barely, Sunder Charm number 2. The luck gauge is pegged off the charts. I'm 58 runs into the farming session. I have 2 Sunder Charms. Normally you're looking at, on average, almost 300 runs to get 2 charms. I know I said I was going to show the Sunder Charm rolls over the videos during these breaks, but it was just too cluttered, so I'm going to make a follow-up video showing how the Sunder Charms rolled. Here we are at the next event, Sunder Charm drop number 4. Shift your attention again to the Andariel side. Yes, Andariel. And Sunder Charm number 3 for Andariel, 103 runs. One of the reasons why I wanted to do 10 Sunder Charms instead of just a couple is to avoid a situation like this where I have found 3 Sunder Charms on Andariel in less than an hour. In fact, The odds of finding 3 Sunder Charms in 103 runs in these conditions is less than 3%. We're comparing these two methods, so we're going to farm quite a bit more so we can see what typical results might look like. And that brings me to my first factor when comparing these methods, and that is the gear and the build of your character. I am running an extremely geared Blizzard Sorceress, geared specifically for farming Andariel. I am doing each run in about 20 seconds. I average about 150 runs an hour, so I expect to get a Sunder Charm about once an hour. On the Herald side, the Blizzard Sorceress is probably not the ideal choice. I do have a Sunder Charm already to break those cold immunities, but the tier 5 Heralds take an extremely long time to kill. Other cold immune monsters also take a long time to kill. I do not have a lot of negative cold res on my gear, so a better choice over there would be probably somebody who does magic damage. Therefore, which method you choose is going to depend largely on the character and your build. Can you teleport very quickly and kill Andariel quickly? Or can you spawn Heralds that aren't immune to your damage? Do you already have Sunder Charms? Alright, so I've got 20 hours of video. I'm going to show you 20 hours of farming in under 20 minutes. That is 20 Sunder Charm drops in under 20 minutes. There we go. Heralds have caught up a little bit with 2 Sunder Charm drops. I thought it was a Geed's Charm because I couldn't pick it up. Turns out my inventory was just full, like she said in the video, and that turned out to be a Sunder Charm. Sunder Charm number 2, a cold Sunder Charm. While we speed through a little bit more of this video, I wanted to talk about another factor affecting whether or not you should do Andariel or Heralds, and that is whether or not you play online or offline. When playing online, it is much more difficult to get these types of farming speeds on Andariel. I know where the entrances to the Catacombs level 3 is every time I spawn in because I'm playing single player offline. I also know where the entrance to Catacombs level 4 is, so I can get there in just a few seconds. And you saw there, the Heralds have picked up their 3rd Sunder Charm, tying it up. That was a Lightning Sunder Charm. Again, we'll look at all the rolls in a follow-up video. We are fast-forwarding again here, and we are going very fast, trying to prevent you from getting, from having any photo-sensitive seizures, so I have muted the videos so they're not as jarring. And here is our next event, and it is on the Andariel side. There we go, and we skipped a lot of video there. I had such a cold streak, over 5 straight hours of no drops. I could have sworn my loot filter was messed up. I kept throwing my Sunder Charm on the ground. I did not know what was going on, but what was going on was just RNG. Look at that luck meter. When you go 5 hours, let me look at my notes here. Yes, 630 runs without a charm drop. You start to question what is going on. But the Heralds have tied it up over there. We just saw them also get their 4th drop 7 hours in. An interesting thing to look at here is the luck meters. So on the Andariel side, we have done 800 runs. We should be at 5 or 6 Sunder Charms if we're considering 1 Sunder Charm every 145 runs. So the luck gauge is well below normal. However, look at the Herald side. We've killed just over 100 Heralds at about 8 hours into the video. We already have 4 Sunder Charms. You would really only expect to get 2 Sunder Charms from Heralds at that point. So being pretty lucky over at the Herald side to stay in this race. We just saw Team Andariel pick up their 5th Sunder Charm. That was the Bone Break Sunder Charm. 955 runs in. The luck gauge is slowly coming up, getting over that incredible bad luck streak that we have. Okay, slowing down the video again here. Are the Heralds going to tie this up again? No, this is over on the Andariel side, and there we go. Sunder Charm number 6 turned out to be a cold Sunder Charm. And again, that luck gauge creeping back towards normal odds. We should be around 7 Sunder Charms over there for 8 hours of farming and almost 1,000 runs. Just wanted to finish my thoughts on the online versus offline factor, and that is for the Heralds, offline, online doesn't matter as much. You create a game, you spawn in, you terrorize the zones, you do the zones, you go from one area to the next, spawning the different tiers of Heralds, and you don't really suffer any penalty from not knowing where things are, because you're likely going to be exploring the zones anyway to get the zone completion rates high enough to spawn those Heralds. Just saw Andariel get Sunder Charm number 7, another cold Sunder Charm, and I don't think I mentioned that Sunder Charm number 4 for Andariel was the elusive Black Cleft Magic Sunder Charm. Slow down the video again. Here we are at our next event, 8.5 hours into the farming session for each side. Again, this is just me playing at different times. Andariel had already completed their 10 Sunder Charms before I even started doing the Heralds, but just for fun, we're running these side by side. So this is about 18 hours worth of farming that we've seen already. Andariel, Sunder Charm number 8. Luck meter is back in the neutral area. 1,048 runs. You would expect to get around 8 Sunder Charms. It was a lightning Sunder Charm that time. Interesting though, the Heralds, looking at the luck gauges, and Andariel gets Sunder Charm number 9 there. Luck gauge is back in the positive. But the Herald's luck gauge is really high. So why is their luck gauge so high, but they only have 4 Sunder Charms? That's because I'm just going too slow. At this point in the video, I've cleared about 125 Heralds, and pretty good luck to get 4 Sunder Charms in only 125 Heralds. So the luck meter is good. I just need to be able to kill those faster. And again, the build wasn't completely ideal. Okay, slow down the video. Is Andariel going to make it to 10 Sunder Charms before the Heralds even get to 5? Actually, no. Had a bit of a dry spell with the Heralds. But I did find that Sunder Charm there. Inventory was full. It is a Sunder Charm number 5 for them. Bone Break. So kind of a rare drop for the Heralds themselves. And maybe we'll talk about this right now, but no. I'm going to wait a little bit because I got another event coming up real soon. 10 hours, 50 minutes. Team Andariel. Run number 1353. And they have done it. They made it to 10 Sunder Charms. They won this race. That was the Black Cleft Sunder Charm for their last one. Nice one to get. I am going to stop the counter for them. Again, they won the race, but as I've been saying, yeah, so he's showing you he's got all 10. Oh, there was a Geeds Charm there. That's true. Between Sunder Charm 9 and 10, I did find a Geeds Charm. Now 7 times rarer than it was previously. It was a super good roll. I don't have a video of it, but I'll tell you. It rolled 3 points off of perfect, so it rolled 159 gold find, 39% magic find, and 14% off of vendors. So a very good Geeds Charm, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, as the self-styled luckiest Diablo 2 player in the world. I have 2 other Geeds Sunder Charms that are better than that, both rolling 40% magic find with 15% discount from vendors. Okay, so you saw there we have cut the split screen off. Team Andariel's done. We'll leave their counter up. We'll show you the Heralds get their 5 final Sunder Charm drops and talk about a few more interesting features comparing Andariel drops with Herald drops. And right there, you just saw the Heralds get Sunder Charm number 6, not too long after Sunder Charm number 5, not too long after Andariel has completed their Sunder Charms. That was another bone break. Interesting, kind of a rare drop for Heralds. One of the factors I wanted to talk about was this one right here, and I'm glad this happened while I was farming Heralds. A lacquered plate drop. That is, of course, Rasha's Guardianship, and it is the last item I need for the Set Chronicle, as I'm going to show you here in the video. So, open up the Chronicle. Go look at what's remaining on the set items, and indeed, Rasha's lacquered plate is the last item I need. Identify that, get the little swoosh, and the set items are complete. And like I said, I wanted this to happen because I wanted to talk about one factor that determines whether or not it's better to just farm Andariel over and over again. Yes, turn on those golden footsteps, very fancy. And that is the items that you can get. Andariel drops a lot of fantastic items, most of which I do not need at this point. I create a lot of Diablo 2 content. I play a lot. I have almost everything that she can drop, although she did drop Entropy Locket during these runs, which was something I was missing on my Chronicle, and several other good items, including the Guardianship charm that I told you about, always useful. So the Heralds get Sunder Charm number 7. But when farming Heralds, you have the opportunity to get any item in the game. That is, of course, assuming that your level is high enough, therefore making the Terror Zone level high enough to drop every item of the game. I finished the set item Chronicle, but I didn't get any of those really rare drops. However, in previous video I showed getting Griffin's Eye while farming Heralds, and there the Heralds have found Sunder Charm. Number 8, a Lightning Sunder Charm. I'm going to speed up the video to the next drop, less than an hour later. Out there in the Arcane Sanctuary with these cold immunes. Oh my goodness. It took me forever to kill this guy. Sunder Charm number 9. Another cold one. And that is basically my final point of the video as we get to Herald Sunder Charm drop number 10, is whether or not you have the gear and the ability to farm these Heralds efficiently for your time. We're going to get Sunder drop number 10 right there. 21 hours, 50 minutes, 24 seconds. Ended up killing 315 Heralds in 21 hours and 50 minutes. My personal opinion is that feels a little bit slow. I have a few updates to some of the rules of thumb in the previous video that might help you go a little bit faster. One of the things was doing the zones out of order in order to get to the tier 5 Herald faster. For example, the Bloodmoor and the Den of Evil have low percentage chances to spawn the tier 1 Herald. So skip those zones. Come back when you're spawning tier 5 Heralds, and you'll have a much better chance of at least getting a tier 5 Herald in those zones. The second change or modification to the rules of thumb that I learned after almost 22 hours of farming is when you get a Herald spawn, a T5 Herald spawn in almost any zone, you should just bounce to the next one. Don't spend time killing the remaining monsters in the zone because you will have less chance to get that second spawn. No matter what conditions there are, the chances to get another Herald spawn are less than if the zone were completely full of monsters. There are a few exceptions to this I will give. One would be in the jail. Both the jail and the catacombs kind of divide themselves up in a natural way that kind of allow you to determine if you've gotten the Herald early in the spawning zone or not. So if you get the T5 Herald in level 1 of the jail or catacombs, I would probably continue in those zones and you will reliably get a second Herald. At that point, I would probably leave that area and go on to the next one. Last piece of advice, just skip the burial grounds, the crypt, and the mausoleum. I made little markers as to how often and how frequently I was getting heralds in these videos over 22 hours, and there was a big gap every time I did the burial grounds, crypt, and mausoleum. It is just several minutes slower. You could use that time to add another herald spawn doing a much better zone. And sorry, actual last piece of advice. The earlier acts are easier than the later acts. I did acts 3, 4, and 5 several times. I was dying frequently. The heralds were much tougher. I ended up just doing acts 1 and 2. Rasha's tomb in act 2 is too good to pass up. You can get so many tier 5 heralds. So that would be my actual last piece of advice, is just to do these earlier acts. Okay, that's it for this video. Next video, we're going to look at all those Sunder Charms, how they roll. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.